Hello.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Harmony Vintage Tutorials, which we came up with a new name for. You came up with a great new name for these things.
Well, I like the name crafting together, so I think we're going to use that and see how that works.
So let's start over.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Harmony Vintage Crafting Together.
Crafting together.
Angie tutorials by Angie. Last week you did a tremendous job making the trinket boxes with our granddaughter Alex.
That was fun.
And that turned out so good. I think it meant a lot to her.
Yeah, I know it did. And she was excited to be on a video with us.
Yes.
So that was nice that we got to do that. And crafting together is a really special time. So I know a lot of times it can be something you do just on your own, and I do that a lot. But when someone does it with me, it is really special.
It was special. You told me, like, you guys have a very special relationship, you and Alex. And you said that just down there talking, nothing going on, you guys were able to really connect, and you talked about things, and it was just a really beautiful time. Not only crafting, but the connection became deeper.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know if everyone's like that, but I know with her, and I suspect with a lot of kids, she gets into that creative zone, and then she just talks about her life and asks questions about life, and it is a really special time. We've had a lot of special moments doing that.
So it's special in that you're doing something together, but it opens up a lot of opportunities for connection and going deeper.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. So this is not a trinket box.
No, this is kind of the opposite scale.
Trinket box on a grand scale.
Isn't it pretty though?
It's beautiful. Oh, where'd you get it?
Well, we got this at an auction. You got this with me. you're like being an interviewer, but what do you call this? Is this a buffet?
It's just kind of a console table.
Or a console?
Yeah, it's kind of
so pretty. I love it. I was really excited when we won it. And when we went to pick it up, I was a little disappointed because there was some damage that I didn't realize. We do online auctions, so sometimes you can have some surprises that you're not so happy about. But this one, it had a big water ring on the top, which wasn't evident in the pictures. And then this lock keyhole, I don't know what you call it, but it looked like it had broken and someone had tried to repair it, and it wasn't taking. So we kind of had to improvise a little bit, and I think this is going to work.
Oh my goodness. Like, my wife does such a great job, you guys, of thinking out of the box. It's amazing. I'll just kind of get this tunnel vision of how I think things should go. And Angie, you did it the other day with something. We needed to reverse the time with the order we were doing something.
Yes.
And she just reversing the order, thinking out of the box, she picked us up an hour and a half in a day, which is huge. So she went out of the box on us. Again, this little thing right here was just kind of a hole that somebody had carved in it. And you used this.
I did. I used the lock and key mold, which we bought for this project. And before I even got to this project, I've already used this 2 times. This is like one of my new favorite molds. So look at all those.
The lock and key mold.
Yeah.
And I've seen that one used a lot. This is, I mean, I don't do this stuff a ton, but this would be one of my favorites.
You know, I wouldn't have thought to buy it, but I know we've sold a lot of these, and we do have them available online if you're interested in this mold. But it is really fun. And for this, we cast it in resin, and it had the little metal keyhole piece, but it didn't fit in the hole that was there. So I'm not really sure what went on there. Someone tried to carve it. It got weird. So we decided we cast it, we put it in there, cast the resin around it, and then we glued it on there. And I think that's going to be really nice. I don't think you'll notice. Once this gets all painted, I don't think you'll notice.
Well, it's going to be beautiful, which is fashion. And then here's the burnished old key. I love that. And it's going to have function. It's still locked. So this is really nice. I'm excited for what you're going to do with it. You've kind of told me. What do you want to tell our friends what we're going to do with it?
Well, the plan for this is, so there's a couple of things. One, we've had some requests for, or we had a request for doing some more blending. And I am learning how to blend, and it's been good. It's pushed me into a zone of learning something new. So we're going to try some paint blending on here. And then we're going to try the new Lost Garden transfer. And we'll be putting some of these flowers on here. When I saw this transfer, I thought of this piece. I think it's going to look really good on this. So we'll put some flowers here and on the doors and on that side. I think it's going to be great.
I think you're selling yourself short on the learning to blend. We have some picture frames upstairs where you went blue to yellow, where it just kind of blended through the center, and then coral to blue on the other side, and they are amazing. So
I did those a while ago, and then I don't know, I got intimidated and a little bit scared because it's not it's a new skill. I have to develop it. But I was telling you this morning, one of the things I really enjoyed in crafting with Alex is that she's fearless. She's just fearless. And she's like, oh, let's try this color and this, and let's stamp that, and let's do that. And crafting with her was fun because I thought about that. I'm going to try to be a little more fearless when I work on this
That's
piece.
funny because I would have described you as a fearless crafter. You, I don't know that you're fearless, but you are resilient, and you try it and you get back up and you get back up and you get back up. And I think that's really strong. So
there are levels to it, and I know my comfort level, and I'll bump right up against it. But blending is over my comfort level, and especially on a furniture piece. But it's also what I really want to know how to do. So I'm not going to learn it by not trying, right?
I love that attitude. So here's what are you going to blend?
Yes. So Apothecary. I'm going to paint the whole thing Apothecary. And then I'm going to bring in, I'm not sure if I'm going to do both of these or one of these, but I'm going to bring in Mermaid Tail and Bohemian Blue in the DIY colors. So it'll be Apothecary and then probably some Bohemian Blue and Mermaid Tail kind of down in the lower part.
So Mermaid Tail and Bohemian Blue are turquoise-ish, and it's going to come up and it's going to go lighter into Apothecary, which is kind of a, how would you explain it, Apothecary?
Yeah, Apothecary is a greenish blue. It's kind of an antique blue color, I suppose. And I'm not going to do like a true ombre, how do you say that? Ombre color scheme, but just do a little bit of blending. And then with this transfer, it's very light and airy. The flowers are really light and airy on there. And so I like this look. So we'll see. That's what we're shooting for. Well, but things sometimes change when I get in there and start getting paint on my fingers.
Pivot.
Yes. So we'll see.
So anyway.
And we're going to take you along. So.
Absolutely. So if you want to stick around, we're going to take this piece and turn it into this week's tutorial on blending.
Yes.
And this one, I mean, every time you make something, I say it's a keeper. So
this one, I'm going to have a little trouble getting rid of this. I am going to sell it. It'll be for sale at Sugarmill once we finish it. But if it turns out what I have, like the vision I have in my head, it's going to be hard to get rid of it.
All right. Well, thanks guys for joining us. Next up, Angie's going to be doing her tutorial. Thank you. Let us know what you think about the name Crafting Together. My beautiful wife came up with that just a minute ago. Like 5 minutes before we did this. How about Crafting Together? I'm like, oh, how did we miss that? So beautiful job. And thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. So we're going to get started on this piece. And we've laid it down because it's a little easier to work on that way. And now you can see this top. It did have some water damage on it, and Rick sanded it for me. And when he did that, it also revealed that there was a lot of putty. Is this like putty that's in here?
Something, some pitch pockets.
Yeah. So although this is beautiful wood with this pretty inlay, it's just not practical for us to stain this. I think it wouldn't turn out well. So we're going to go ahead and paint the top of it. But I wanted to let you know before I paint it, because chalk paint does have the sometimes the tannins in freshly sanded wood will bleed through and cause some problems. I'm just going to bypass that and just go ahead and put a primer on here before I do my first coat. So today I'm using Melange Clear Bonding Primer, and I'm just going to put one coat on there and let it dry really well before I do my first layer of chalk paint. It is clear, so you're probably not even going to be able to tell that much is happening here, but I'm just going to brush that on.
What are tannins?
Tannins, I'm not entirely sure. Do you know what they are?
I think they're the kind of saps that settle inside the wood and then bleed through when it gets sanded down.
Yeah, usually, like the rest of this piece, I'm not gonna put the primer on because I don't think it'll bleed through. It does happen sometimes, especially if you're doing mahogany. Mahogany is super bad, like at all the little seam lines. Sometimes you'll get some bleed through. This we think is cherry, so I guess we'll find out. Usually, what happens if it's going to have bleed through? Usually, what happens? You put the first coat on, and when it dries or even starts to dry, you'll see either a brownish or a reddish kind of. I don't know.
It's like a fog in the finish.
Or I think kind of like, I don't know if you've ever had a leak in your roof where the ceiling kind of gets those weird lines on it. It kind of looks like that. So not attractive, definitely not what you want on your piece. So, and if it does have, if you've painted it and that happens, you can put some sort of a sealer over the top of it and do another coat. It's just an extra step that you really want to avoid if you can. All right, so this is where we are right now, and it's not going perfectly smooth as expected. So I did 2 coats of Apothecary on here because this was dark wood. It just needed to kind of cover it. And now I'm starting to play with color. And this part, you know, I kind of make it up. I definitely make it up as I go along. So I'm not 100% sure where it's going to go from here, but this is what we're trying right now. We're trying some blending, and this has the Apothecary, Mermaid Tail, and Bohemian Blue. And it's not blending quite as smoothly as I really would like it to. And I was thinking about it. I wanted to teach you how to do this, but I don't really know how to do it yet myself. So you're watching me learn, maybe more than I'm teaching you, but hopefully you can learn and be inspired to try something, you know, a little bit out of the box for yourself. So another reason I'm not super concerned that my blending isn't perfect on this is because, remember, we are going to put a transfer over the top. And this transfer, this is Lost Garden. It's very airy. So this color will show through, but I think the fact that it's not a perfect blend is really going to be fine with this particular transfer on there.
So none of that white's going to be on there, just the flowers and the leaves.
Yes, it'll show through like that.
There we go.
I'm not ready to put it on yet, but I've been using this to kind of show me where I am in the process. So I've done that here, and I want to also do it on these doors, and that's what we're going to try to do right now. Oh, I also did some down here on the bottom. I'm going to try some stamping on there. I'm not sure about this. There's a lot that I'm still not sure about, but let's go ahead, and I have my 3 colors here. And I have a lot of paintbrushes because, at least for me, and while I'm still learning, it does take a lot of brushes for me to because I put it on with a brush, so there'll be 3 brushes, one for each color, and then I blend it and with a clean brush, and sometimes I need another clean brush kind of to start all over. I also will have a little spray bottle of water. So I know that was a little bit all over the map, but hopefully as you watch me do it, it'll make a little more sense. And again, it's not going to be perfect. We're still definitely learning. So these are still a little bit wet. Let me dry these. I like them to be, my brushes to be damp, but not like super wet. And another thing I'm finding is that I really want to start with a nice dry base coat. I've learned the hard way, if you get too much water going, your paint will just come off, and that's a disaster. I've done that before. It's really
so you want
sad.
to be good and dry because it reconstitutes when it gets wet.
It does, yes. Remember, this clay-based paint is water activated. So when we get the water on there, it reactivates it. What I'm trying to figure out, and I haven't yet, is the perfect balance of enough water to get a good blend going and not too much water that you pull your paint off. And that is a tricky balance. So we'll see. And maybe you have some good tips on this, because I've watched so many videos of people doing this and it's just not coming together for me quite yet. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to try to do these panels here, the center panels of these doors. And so at the top, I'm putting the Apothecary on, just on the center part of this door. And I kind of want to move a little bit fast so that my paint doesn't dry. Sorry about that knocking noise. Okay, so I feel like that's pretty good for that Apothecary there that's up here at the top. I'm taking another brush, a clean brush, and now I'm going to do my Mermaid Tail. And doing this kind of in the middle. Sorry about that knocking. Is that way too loud?
I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, okay. So I want this in the middle, but the Bohemian Blue is super dark, so I don't want too much Bohemian Blue down there at the bottom. And I'm going to come and put that Bohemian Blue down here. And I'll come back in and repair some of this that gets on the edges. And I kind of bringing it up on the sides a little bit.
Looks good, dear.
So there's my basic 3 colors. Now I'm going to take a clean brush, not too wet.
I'll show them what kind you're using.
For this one, I really like these Paint Pixie Dusty brushes. I use the Dusty or sometimes the Little Dusty. I don't know. You'll usually see people use these, but I don't know. They don't work that great for me. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to take this little spray bottle and I'm just going to spray all the paint. Actually, I just realized before I use this, I'm going to take another clean brush. And this is one of the round, I don't know what you call this. This is also by Paint Pixie, but this is the traditional round chalk painting brush. And I'm just going to take this border here and start kind of swirling it. Got a little chunk there. I'm going to start just kind of swirling it to get it kind of started blending. And I'm going to also do that down here where my Bohemian Blue is. And I kind of like how it's starting to blend. But now I'm going to take this dusty brush. I'm going to spray again a little bit. And with a gentle hand, I'm going to start kind of blending, starting at the top, because that Bohemian Blue, that's a really dark color. And once you hit that, you're going to carry that all over.
So you start with light.
I did, yes. And I will kind of go back and forth a little bit, but mostly I'm doing this very lightly. If you do it too hard, it starts to pull your paint off. You witnessed me doing that earlier, didn't you? Now I'm taking another clean, dusty brush, and now I'm going to come back and kind of very lightly again. I'm just blending it in the other direction. And I don't know, this is just kind of experimenting. I watch people do this and they make it look so simple. I'm not there yet. It is not simple for me yet. But the colors are kind of blending together. And I do like that. I am going to use that one that I was going side to side with, because I did this one more side to side. I want these panels to kind of match one another. So we're going to come back very lightly, just blend this.
Looks amazing, dear.
Well, it's not exactly what I want yet, but I feel like I just need to keep practicing this.
Well,
And
if I know anything about you, your superpower is perseverance and diligence. You will master this.
I hope so. I've actually done pretty well on smaller things. It's these bigger pieces are kind of stumping me. And one of the things that really bothers me with this particular process is that I can't just keep doing it forever. Like eventually you're going to overwork your paint, start to pull it off. I feel like I've probably hit my limit on this one. I will come back in with a smaller brush and kind of touch up these little areas on the side. And then of course we'll patch this up back with the Apothecary so that you don't see that on the edges. But that's what I'm going to try for now. And again, this will have the transfer over the top of it once everything's ready for that step of the process. I'll bring you along when I get there. Did that make sense to you?
It made sense, dear. It
Good.
really did. You did a good job.
Okay, so I cleaned up the edges here. I just painted over those spots where it went over, and it's starting to look
Looks clean.
Huh? You like that?
Yeah,
it's much
looks
cleaner.
really good.
And now I'm going to put a little bit of trim down here on these parts. So I'm using the Bohemian stamp, which has just been discontinued. We do have a few of them available. So if you want this one, you probably shouldn't wait too long. But we are just going to stamp along this edge. And this is actually 2 pieces of the stamp. I just stacked them, put them on this thin mount. I have some slightly watered down white swan paint in my brayer. I'm just going to roll that on here.
So you said when you stamp with the paint, you like to water it down. It applies better.
Yeah, it's a little too thick. If you don't water it down, it's a little too thick and you don't get as clean of an imprint. You do always get the very best imprint with ink. I'm just touching all of this. You always get the very cleanest imprint with ink, but paint sometimes gives a nice effect. Like on this piece right here, I'm excited about how this looks.
Bam!
With the actual paint.
Bam! So there's your first one.
There it is.
Now you're going to reapply ink.
Yep, I am.
Or paint rather.
Yep, I am. And this is meant to be pretty rustic looking, so it's not going to match up perfectly, but I'm okay with that. The stamp is designed to butt up against itself, so I'm going to try to hit it.
They think about everything over there at IOD.
They really do. They make creating so much easier just by thinking of these things through ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
isn't that great?
Crack-a-lacka.
I'm loving it. So happy with it. Sometimes, like I usually wash off my stamp after a couple of applications of paint and kind of start clean because it can start to get a little gunky on there. I'm going to risk it on this last one, and then I'll probably wash it off and get a clean stamp going.
I'm really proud of you, dear. You are
Thank you.
Killing it.
No, it's starting to come together, huh?
Oh, look at that.
I really, really like this.
Look at that.
I am going to have to clean this off because for this last piece, I'm going to have to try to line it up a little bit. It'll require me moving this around a little bit. Sometimes it can get a little tedious, so it's going to be kind of up to you how choosy you want to be. Mine's not going to fit perfectly. I don't know if you can maybe come over here and see this one.
Look at that. Isn't that awesome? That is awesome.
This is, actually, I'm not even positive. I think this is where these two pieces fit. I just took a paintbrush and kind of painted that so that you couldn't tell as much that it didn't perfectly match up. And
it looks amazing.
I don't think you'd ever know it didn't match up perfectly. So that's just a tip for what you might want to do on your own piece. All right, so I cleaned it and I'm just putting it back on here. I can see it's not going to match perfectly. I think it's going to be fine because it is so low on the piece that I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it just like this. So these two will be a little close together. 1, 2, 3, 4 of these are going to fit on here. So when I ink this up, I'm just going to do 4 of them. I'm not going to go any further.
I love the way you overcome these obstacles.
Well, there's a lot of that in painting. It's part of the challenge. All right. All right, so that one didn't come out super great, but I'm actually okay with that. I think that's going to be fine. I don't think you'll notice that at all. If it really bothers me, I could come back in and kind of play with it. You know what? Let's do that so you can see me do it. I do have to clean this off. I'm going to pause
overcome an obstacle. I think you should fix it.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't think
that
you would
OCD part of my brain.
I know. I could tell that you were like.
Yep, I was glitching.
But I truly don't think you would ever actually notice it on the finished piece because it's going to be low.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot going on.
But that's okay.
I like this stuff because it's perfectly imperfect a lot of times.
Yes, that's kind of how I feel about it. And, I've said this before. If you want something to be perfect, then, go buy something that was made by a computer or a machine.
Mm-hmm.
If you want something handmade, it's not going to be perfect. And I think that's the beauty of it myself.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you can go ahead and turn that back on.
Oh, it's been on.
Oh, has it? All right, so I'm just going to focus on just this one little piece right here. And my ink might be, or my paint might be getting a little bit dry. Might be part of why it didn't come off.
Didn't take.
It's okay. I got a little bit further than I wanted.
Getting crazy.
And you might want to tell yourself this is not going to be perfect. So you don't get too stressed out. But there.
Bam!
So that does look better, I think.
Bam! Good job, dear.
I'm so excited about it.
Good job.
Looking good.
You did a great job, dear.
Thank you. So I just put some sealer. I use the DIY Big Top. Somewhere hiding. It gets into more and more of a disaster as I proceed, but this is a DIY Big Top. I did a nice light coat. You usually, or you always really want to seal under a transfer. If you paint it on chalk paint, it has a better chance of adhering really well to your piece. Big Top is a great choice for that. You do not want to use wax under your transfer. You want to use something water-based like this. So I put one coat on here, just pretty light. We'll seal over it again, but I wanted to get that paint so that it's not powdery like the chalk paint, just for the transfer. And while I'm waiting for that to dry, because I'm feeling really impatient, I can't wait to see what it's going to look like when I get the transfers on. I decided I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of wet distressing on here. And I just have a microfiber cloth. I've got it. It's pretty damp. You don't want it so that water is dripping off of it, but you do want enough so that it's going to get your paint wet. I don't know if you can see that. You can see that the paint is getting wet. It's going to reactivate it. And I always have to remind myself not to get too crazy on this. It's not like you're scrubbing your stove or something. You want to, I actually call it reverse painting. So you are just very lightly running that moist cloth on the edge. See how it just started coming off right here? And
that's not focusing. Oh, there it goes.
So you can see it starting to come off. Now, just one more touch just really takes that paint off. You can also kind of go sideways if you have a spot that you want to make a little bit bigger. I enjoy doing this on a piece. I think it just really brings out the beauty of the detail. This piece has so many little details on it that I think this is really going to make it pop. It is a slow process. Like I said, it's reverse painting, so it actually takes me as long to distress it as it does to paint it almost. So we won't show you the whole process, but that's what we're going to do on pretty much on all these corners, all the corner pieces. And we'll show you what it looks like when we get it done. I'm starting without you because I'm so excited about this. All I've done is take the backing sheet off of here, and I'm gonna. Normally I would tape it on, but I feel like I'm pushing my luck with my drying time today.
My wife is normally very patient, but when it comes to craft, she's like kids at Christmas.
I am. I feel like it feels like that.
There it is. Oh my gosh.
You like it?
Oh my gosh. That looks amazing. Let's show our friends.
Isn't that going to be great?
People. Oh my goodness.
I'm so excited.
That's going to be fantastic.
I'm using my transfer stick. This comes with your transfer package.
Which transfer is that?
This is Lost Garden. And now I'm just lightly rubbing. I always like to say when you're taking off a transfer, it's not about rubbing hard. It's about separating the transfer from this transfer sheet. And that does not take a lot of pressure. I kind of bend the sheet so I can see once it's left and that it's already sticking to my piece. I don't know if you can see that.
You can see it.
It's starting, and this is another process that takes longer than I want it to sometimes.
One of the things that you said that impressed me is the transfer wants to stick to the surface of the project.
It does.
You're not forcing it to go somewhere it doesn't want to go. It wants to go there. So
yes,
you're coaxing it more than you're forcing it.
That's a great word for it. Yes, you're more coaxing it off of the transfer sheet than onto the project. Yeah, but isn't that looking terrific?
Oh my, look at that. That looks amazing.
So I'm going to keep working on this. This is obviously going to take me a little while, but we'll come back and show you when it's all the way on. Here it is.
Here it is. Welcome back, everybody. Here's the finished product. We're so excited.
I'm happy with it.
This turned out so beautiful.
Thank you.
How beautiful is it? It's so beautiful. It's not going in our vintage booth. We're keeping it. So
yeah,
it is a prerogative when you, I guess, own the company or whatever. It started off. This was going to be a project for a piece of furniture for our booth, and it ended up in our living room. Hence the
right.
So you did such a good job.
Thank you. Thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Good.
It was. I was nervous about it because I didn't know if I could pull it off, but this came very close to what I originally envisioned, and so I'm very happy with it.
Well, it turned out amazing, so much so that we're keeping it. As a matter of fact, we're actually redesigning our living room based on it. So
yes, we are. We'll be changing up the colors in our living room because it turns out I really like this Apothecary. I don't know if the color shows up super well in the video, but Apothecary is just a really pretty color, and I could use some more of that in my life.
You did a fantastic job. The color selection, the Apothecary, the blues, and the way you blended them, then laid the transfer over. With the lock, you got a little bit of ingenuity going there and figured that out, and you just did a tremendous job. So
thank you. And also, just to recap of the things that we showed on the video, after we had this transfer put on, I did add another layer of DIY Big Top just to seal that in. I did do some wet distressing here before we sealed it also. And then I think that's everything. I had some extra bleed through, which was why it was a little bit delayed. I had to go over it again with some more salvation solution, but
It worked.
It stopped it. So
Yeah,
it took two coats of it, but it stopped the bleed through, and now I love it.
It looks amazing. You did fantastic, dear.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I hope you're proud.
I am.
I'm so
I am.
glad.
I keep looking at it, and it is such a pretty piece. It kind of brightens up the living room, and we'll probably put some plants on here in front of this nice window, and just enjoy it for years to come.
Nice. So what's next week's project? Do you know?
Well, I've been working on another piece for a living room, and yeah, next week, I'm going to be showing how to use the velveteen stamp because it's a repeating pattern, and I wanted to show how to use it with paint and do the repeating pattern on a piece.
I know that's your favorite stamp right now.
It is. It's showing up on it's not on this, believe it or not.
I was waiting. I was literally waiting for it to show up on here somewhere.
I probably could have put it on here somewhere, but I didn't.
You did a great job, dear.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And for everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Everybody that has encouraged my wife, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is called Crafting Together.
Yes.
And we just appreciate you being here. So thank you, guys. I hope you learned something. Bye.
Bye-bye.